Oh, there
Yep.
we go, man. How are you?
Hey, man. Wow. 17 years we met. 2008 at Rocklahoma with Karnevil.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. Can you believe it? Look at the growth in you,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I
I
know. It's
mean,
been a long
from
time.
nice, clean shaven like a little baby boy to a
Oh,
grown
yeah.
man,
It's the
right?
Rogaine, either
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
I know what you mean. You know? Cool setup back there, too, huh? So you
Yeah,
see,
thank you, man. There's a spot here. I don't know if I can get this,
yeah.
I don't know if I can get the camera. Hopefully I can get the camera back in the same spot. Hold on. Yeah, there we go.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I know. It's a pain in the ass with the camera, and at least you got a nice thing. I had a backdrop. I got like two poles, one going higher than the other, and like you're there about 10 minutes trying to fix everything. You know?
Yep, totally.
Wow. So how you doing, man?
Yeah, man. Everything's good. Everything's good, man. Just doing a lot with Dark Chapel.
Cool, cool. Spirit in the Glass. That came out February 28th. And how's it doing?
Oh man, it's going great. Yeah, it came out just exactly a week ago today.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I'm psyched now. Everybody can hear the whole album in full, and it's going great. Yeah, worked hard at it, and I'm psyched. It's came to life.
Cool, cool. Now you also did two other solo albums, instrumentals and stuff like that. Did you want to sing on any of them songs on the instrumental, or you just wanted to keep them all playing instrumentals?
Yeah, I mean, I was singing at that time, but I was definitely just focused on guitar playing,
Uh,
and especially with Shrapnel being that guitar, focused label. I think I may have wanted to try to do a song or two on one of those that was singing, but then we just would just focus on guitar playing and but yeah, I was singing at the time, but I was still working on songwriting and demoing and everything. So but yeah.
wow, cool. Now, Spirit in the Glass. Um, like when you started, working on your vocals and stuff, were you nervous at all?
Like when I first started like
Yeah,
singing years and years ago.
yeah,
Um so I mean I wasn't nervous. I definitely, when I was playing guitar when I was coming up, just
right.
focused on guitar playing, it's like you hear somebody sing and you just think, or I would just think that they open their mouth and they sound like that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
Right.
they have that touch. They're a singer. And so I just, okay, I'm just going to play guitar. But, when I was playing with Jani, I met somebody that was a vocal coach when he was like, early 20s area, late teenager. And so Janie would always joke with me like, you got to learn to play slide guitar and you got to learn how to sing. So that guy, Ron Feldman, amazing guy, passed away. But he started working with me like once a week on Skype after I met him when I was on the road with Janie. He gave me one kind of vocal, how to breathe and how to sing like in a hotel room one night after a show when I first met him. But then he worked with me weekly on Skype and he was showing me like piano stuff, how to play the piano scale and read the scale and sing the scale all at the same time. And then I was working on piano songs and singing and acoustic and singing. And so, yeah, so I wasn't nervous, but it definitely took, just like learning anything, it definitely took a while to get that built up. And, I remember when I first like recorded the song singing and then months and months later, I recorded the song singing, and to my ear, I was like, "Oh, it's starting to sound like a singer." You know what I mean?
I
And that
get.
takes a while to develop. So, but yeah, I wasn't nervous. I just looked at it as like another form of expression, just being a musician, just growing in that area.
Right. Wow. Even back, like, let's start with the Eric Martin band. Did you have to audition for any of that stuff, or they just heard you and say, "I want that guy"?
Oh, with Eric Martin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that was actually I just did one show with Eric, and it was for a charity show in Canada,
Uh-huh.
and we had a mutual friend, which was the guy who was putting the charity together, and he kind of connected us to do that show together. So I believe I was touring with Janie at the time.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that was just a one-off, but that was awesome.
Cool, cool. How about with Janie? Did you audition for that, or they automatically said, "I want this guy"?
Yeah, so I was 16 at the time, and MySpace was big. So I saw an ad on the bulletin board that Janie was looking for a guitar player, and I loved like 70s, 80s guitar playing. Like that was my world and my focus at that time. So when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" So I sent a bunch of emails to this contact that was in that post, and they end up getting back to me. We went back and forth, and then they're like, why don't you record some Warrant songs and send it out to us? So I recorded a handful of songs, and I panned my guitar one way and the Warrant song on the other side, and they were digging it. So they're like, yeah, let's have you come out to LA and meet Jani and jam with him. So we met in a rehearsal room, and he played drums
Mhm.
and sang. Which I was unaware of how awesome of a drummer he was. And it was just him and I in a rehearsal room jamming on these Warrant songs, and he was singing them and playing drums. And a few weeks later, we were pretty much on the road. I mean, that was the audition process.
Cool, cool, cool. How about Karneval? Then you started a regular band, right? You weren't part of a band that was existing already, right? That was a new band formed.
Yeah, so that was just after the Jani time. So, but yeah, we had that band going for a little bit. We played Rocklahoma. I don't know if anything ever ended up actually officially getting released. I can't remember, but we definitely had some songs recorded. And then right after that, I started playing with Lizzy.
Cool, cool. And did you play with Lizzy before your solo albums or after?
Yeah, so I was playing with Lizzy. I jammed with him for about 4 years, and so that started in 2009 area. So in
Right.
2013 was my first instrumental solo album that I did with Mike Varney at Shrapnel Records. So I was still with Lizzy,
Uh-huh.
and then right after that, 2013, pretty much 5 or 6 months later, after that album came out, I joined Black Label,
Cool, cool.
2014.
I photographed you and Lizzy Borden in New Jersey when you toured here. That was a great show.
Oh, was that Dingbats or where was
Yes,
that?
yeah, Dingbats. Yeah, I
Awesome. Yeah, yeah.
photographed that tour. That was
Nice.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Great time. Absolute great time.
Wow. And then actually, I think I met you. I went to the hotel to do an interview with Lizzy, and you were there too. And that was pretty interesting and a lot of fun to meet you again and stuff like that. Now, why'd you leave Lizzy?
I was just, I had my instrumental album that came out,
Right.
and then I was going back and forth with the Blasco who manages Black Label, and I was trying to get some stuff going with the instrumental album, and then, that was around the same time that Black Label was looking for a guitar player, and of course, coming up as a guitar player, Zach, being such a huge influence and a huge inspiration, that was, extremely exciting. So, yeah, that's kind of how that came to be.
So how is Lizzy as a person?
Oh, Lizzy's amazing. He's like my brother to this day. We actually don't live too far from each other. So yeah, we're still he's like my family. Everybody a part of Lizzy Borden when I was from when I was in there until now. It's yeah, they're family.
Cool, cool. Did you contribute anything to the new album?
To Lizzy album?
Yeah, the new one.
No, nope. That's all Lizzy.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, because when I came in, it was just after their Appointment with Death album.
Right.
That was whatever year that was, 2009-ish area, 2008-ish area. And then we never recorded an album together. We did some cover songs that got recorded, I think, and got released. And then I was in Black Label before Lizzy was doing another album. So yeah, so I was never on an album with Lizzy.
Cool, cool. How much difference are the fans from Black Label to Lizzy Borden? Any?
I mean, it all falls under the umbrella of heavy hard rock, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
um, yeah, I mean, it's all similar. Lizzy's got a different bit of a different style, but yeah, if you like hard rock, you're gonna like it.
Cool, cool, cool. Now, how is Zach as a person?
Oh, he's incredible.
Uh-huh.
He's the best, man. We have such a great time.
Cool, 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 cool. So are you gonna tour with this new album with Dark Chapel?
Yeah, so we did our first two shows about a month ago, opening up for Zach Sabbath, which is Zach's Black Sabbath cover band. We did that in New Orleans and Little Rock, and then last week the album came out for March 28th or February 28th. We did our album release show March 1st, so that was last week. We just did that, and we're working on a ton of stuff right now. So yeah, we're definitely planning to get on the road.
Cool, cool, cool. Let's get to some of the album, and tell me a little bit about your perception of each song and your feelings towards it. Let's start off with Afterglow.
Yeah, Afterglow. So I love the song because it's driving and it's riff heavy and it's pumping. And I like the kind of what the song is about lyrically.
Right.
Um, but so I recorded half of this album several years ago, and then half of it I ended up finishing last year. So Afterglow was one of the first songs I had. Afterglow, Corpse Flower, We Are Remade, um, Dead Weight, Dark Waters, Gravestoned Humanity. Those were like a handful of songs that I had recorded several years ago. And then like Hollow Smile, Glass Heart, Bullet in Our Chamber, All That Remains. Those were a handful of the newer ones.
Right.
But yeah, I dig Afterglow.
Cool, cool, cool. How about Hollow Smile? What's your perception of that?
So again, riff heavy. Love that riff, that element of guitar playing. And then, after I wrote the lyrics for the song, I read a quote like, "A man's own mind is the greatest battle he'll ever face." And that, when I read the quote, hopefully I'm quoting that correctly, but when I read the quote, I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty on point with the lyrics for Hollow Smile."
Cool. How about We Are Remade?
We Are Remade. Love the riff. And I actually rewrote those lyrics from the original recording of it. And you could think of that as like either like a rebirth or like an afterlife kind of
Right.
thing. That's kind of what We Are Remade would be lyrically about. But it's got a Judas Priest vibe to me, which I dig musically. And same thing kind of with Hollow Smile. It's got that Priest thing with the dual guitar solo and the dual guitar harmony in the middle of it.
Right. Yeah, definitely. One of my favorite songs is next, Corpse Flower. I love that track. I think that's also the video.
Yeah, that was one of the singles, and that's the latest video that just came out.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I love the music in that. It's kind of prog-ish because there's a lot of parts. It can be a lot of parts to it. And then it's the story lyric-wise would be, I wrote it almost like if you were writing a poem. If you read it without music, it's poetry like,
Right.
and it's just kind of like a story of immortality, but with a lot of the lyrics that I'm writing, I'm kind of envisioning like an imagery,
Right.
or almost like if that imagery is like a painting, and I'm just kind of writing about, the description of that painting, and that I was just seeing like kind of what the single art is,
Right.
where it's like a huge ominous, evil flower in a dark ominous field with a bunch of dead flowers. It's kind of dead or dying flowers around it, and the main corpse flower is like a beacon of immortality, or like a beacon to the underworld.
Hmm.
Uh, so that's Corpse Flower. Almost if it was like Edgar Allan Poe for a day writing
Right.
that
Yeah.
kind of vibe. Yep.
Cool. Cool. Now, do you write your material with the keyboards behind you, or you do it with guitar, or no music at all when you write your lyrics?
So everything starts for me for the most part with guitar riff. Like
Uh-huh.
if I'm writing a piano song like Dead Weight, then I had that music and I'm just humming a melody and then I'm putting the words to it afterwards. And that's pretty much how they all begin. I usually start with the riff. I start like rough drafting it out in Pro Tools, get a vibe going, and I'm hearing a melody, so I kind of am either scatting something or, I just start putting something down, and then after that, I'll try to lay lyrics into it.
Cool. Cool. How about Glass Heart?
Yeah, Glass Hatch. That was the first single. Started with the riff. If you took the distortion off the riff, it was giving me like a Zeppelin kind of feel.
Right.
So with the riff the way it is, and then the kind of jazzy chords that it goes into during the verses. Um, so yeah, if I used a different amp, it could go Zeppelin route, but it got heavy. And then when we were recording it, it was like giving us like soundtrack to a movie
Right.
kind of vibes. So and again, that lyrically is, um, I was thinking, I mean, all the songs are stemming from some kind of an emotion, but then that was like, I was kind of envisioning like the glass heart, if that's the moon over the world and you're inside of a glass moon looking down over, what's going on in your life or just the world in general. And, I'm seeing like almost like a starry night, dark blue,
Right.
ominous scenery. Um, and yeah, but Glass High, I dig that one.
Cool. Cool. Actually, my next favorite song is Dead Weight. kind of bluesy, got a good vibe to it and stuff like that. And tell me a little bit about that song. I like it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs on the album because it's so different. Of course, I love it's bookended by guitar-driven heavy rock, but that one's so different. It's right in the middle of the album. I mean, I have so many songs like that. I could probably do a whole album just worth of that kind of stuff. And that's that to me is I'm in my element with that kind of with that kind of music. And I had that piano music for a while, and I play it and just kind of hum a melody to it. And then I put lyrics to it, and that's just a really personal, meaningful song just about a particular time in life, and yeah, that's one of my absolute favorite songs.
Cool, cool. You think people would be surprised with that song since it's so different than the rest of the album?
Yeah, it might be something unexpected.
Yeah.
I had a song called "Man on the Moon" that I've had for years, that I had written just before Jani had passed away. And then I ended up performing it at one of his memorials. So I've been playing piano and singing, writing songs like that for a long time.
Cool, cool, cool. How about Dark Waters?
Dark Waters, yeah, that's another one that's meaningful, personal song, and falls in that same element of Dead Weight, where it's like singer-songwriter, just intimate, one instrument and vocal kind of thing. Which, yeah, I'm in my element for that kind of stuff.
Cool, cool. How about All That Remains?
Yeah, love that riff. It's got a heavy dropped low string, so it's bluesy, but it gets real heavy. And I actually wrote that song with somebody who passed away. So I love the lyrics in that song, and the first line of the second verse is "Spirit in the Glass," so that's where I got the album title from.
Cool, cool, cool. How about Gravestoned Humanity?
Yeah, so lyrically on that one, that's like about an apocalyptic time, like if the human race was to not exist anymore, if it was going to be wiped out. And then guitar riff wise, I love that. It's one of my favorite riffs and maybe solos on the album. That one and Afterglow solo wise, those might be my two favorites.
Is most of the titles of the song part of the lyrics?
Yep, actually every song is part of the lyrics.
Uh-huh.
I just went in a different route when I named the album with an album title that was separate from like a song name.
Right.
But yeah, every song name is from a lyric.
Cool, cool. How about the last track, Bullet in Our Chamber?
I love Bullet in Our Chamber because it's got a totally different vibe. It kind of falls in that All That Remains bluesy realm, but it's got its own thing that's separate from the rest of the album. I mean, it all falls under the same umbrella, but that's another personal song that, could be about a relationship or however, you might want to interpret the lyrics. But that was actually the last song that we recorded in the studio, and it was the last one on the list that I really wanted to try to incorporate. And I just thought, if we have enough time on that last day when we're recording drums, let's try to throw this in there. So it was like 1 a.m, and I'm like, let's put this one in and see if we can get something. And the drummer nailed it in the first take. And then we're like, just do one more just in case. And one take again, he nailed it. And he hadn't really even heard the song. He just did a quick listen and vibed it out to the whole thing. So that one really came to life and is really special.
Cool, cool. Tell me about each member of Dark Chapel.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I recorded half the album several years ago. So I recorded that with some friends of mine in Vegas who are phenomenal musicians. And then when I on and off the road, I was finishing the writing and recorded the rest of the album in 2024. Which are the guys now that are live with me. Louis Silva on drums, Mike Gunn on bass, Dylan Dice playing guitar with me. And yeah, so that's the lineup now for Dark Chapel.
Cool, cool. Are you still part of Black Label?
Oh, yeah, definitely. 100%. Black Label just had a new single come out, Lord Humongous. That came out last week or a couple weeks ago. There'll be a new album on the way and all Black Label stuff coming next year.
Cool, cool, cool. Are you getting tired of doing interviews yet?
No, not at all. I'm psyched people are interested and want to hear about the album.
Yeah, you got a great voice, because I really never heard you sing all the way from then till now, and at least this I get a full album of Get to Hear You and stuff like that. So, is there merchandise for Dark Chapel?
Yeah, so everything darkchapelband.com will link you everywhere for like the vinyls of the record, the CDs of the record, and then any way you want to stream it, wherever you stream your music. And then, yeah, there'll be t-shirts and all kinds of stuff getting thrown up there. And then, that'll link you. The record label's Monarch Heavy, and darkchapelband.com will link you to their store. There's shirts on there. There's vinyl and CDs on there. So, yeah.
Did you ever think of maybe Black Label, going out on tour with Dark Chapel supporting them?
Oh, yeah, we're working on all kinds of things. So, yeah. Excited for what's to come.
I know back in the day, 2008 and a little earlier, actually, your mother was a big supporter of you. How's she doing now?
Oh, she's great. Yeah, both my parents are extremely supportive. And yeah, they were both at the show last week here in Vegas. So, yeah, they're digging it.
Good. Did either of your parents ever, say, my friend wants an autograph? Can you do that?
Yeah, maybe I've given them, picks here and there. Absolutely.
Cool. So what's the future look like for Dark Chapel?
Yeah, so Dark Chapel's just getting rolling, and we just had these first few shows, and we're working on all kinds of things, and we're planning to get on the road. And yeah, psyched for this album coming out. That's out. Everybody can hear it.
Cool. How many songs you wrote that were left off the album?
I got a good handful that hopefully we'll see that second one. Yeah, so I mean, I'm constantly writing and constantly demoing. That's kind of my process. I love to demo and like rough draft things out, and when I come up with a riff or a melody or whatever, I like to put it in so I can hear it back right away,
right.
And try to get a vibe of how it's sounding. But yeah, I got a lot left over.
Cool. Now, when you joined Black Label, did you have to audition for that, or Zach already wanted you?
Yes, no. So yeah, like when I was talking to Blasco back and forth during that time, he, was like, why don't you record some Black Label videos, playing some Black Label songs? And I also did a handful of Zach's original Book of Shadows. I sang and played acoustic of a few of those songs.
Right.
And I sent those all over. And that was pretty much the audition process. And then a few weeks later, they were like, we'd love to have you come out and meet Zach up at the Black Vatican. So I went out there and hung with Zach. And we didn't even play because, he saw the videos and
right.
things that I sent over. So it was more of just a hang, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, here we are 11 years later with Black Label.
Cool. What do you do in your spare time?
My life revolves around music one way or the other. So I have Death Grip Academy, where, online guitar academy. I have my Death Grip straps. So working on things with that. And if it's not that, I'm working on Dark Chapel, Black Label stuff. And yeah, everything revolves around music.
Cool. How can people get in touch with you?
So everything's off darkchapelband.com. That'll take you everywhere, to the Instagrams, all the social stuff, all the streaming. Yeah, that's the place. I'm Dario Lorina on Instagram, Dark Chapel Band on Instagram, but darkchapelband.com takes you everywhere.
Cool. You think when you go out on tour, the band will videotape some of the shows?
Yeah, definitely. We got some footage of this album release show, and yeah, we're going to be putting some things together.
Cool. Well, Dario, it was great talking to you, catching up after 17 years.
Yeah, to you too, man. This is amazing. When I saw your name on there, I was like, oh, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Cool. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Thank you guys for listening, for those who've checked it out. And if you haven't checked it out, go check it on Spotify, Apple Music. There's vinyl, CD, album Spirit in the Glass, Dark Chapel. And yeah, we're just getting going. So thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Dario.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care.